Hello everyone, welcome to my Schooling YouTube channel. Today we are gonna discuss about Economics of Class 12, Indian Economic Development, Chapter 3, Liberalization, Privatization and Globalization. Let's get started, and before that click the subscribe button and press the bell icon. You will be notified every time. Now let us discuss about some of the important terms. Liberalization. Liberalization means freedom from direct or physical control imposed by government. It is a relaxation of previous government restrictions. Liberty means freedom. Liberalization was introduced with an aim to put an end to those restrictions which became major hindrances in growth and development of various sectors. It is generally defined as the loosening of government regulation in a country to allow for private sector companies to operate business transactions with fewer restrictions. In relation to developing countries, this term refers to opening of economic borders for multinationals and foreign investment. Globalization. Now let us discuss about this term. We can define it in many ways. Increasing openness of economy, growing economic interdependence, deepening economic integration in the world economy, or we can define it as movement of people, goods, services and technology across the countries, or we can simply say as integration of economy. It is a borderless world. It means integration of the economy of the country with the world economy. Globalization encourages foreign trade and private and institutional foreign investment. Globalization is a complex phenomenon and an outcome of the set of various policies that are aimed at transforming the world towards greater interdependence and integration. Globalization attempts to establish links in such a way that happenings in India can be in need by events happening miles away. It is turning into one whole or creating a borderless world. Let's discuss about privatization. It is a transfer of ownership, property or business from the government to the private sector. Government ceases to be the owner of the entity. The process of involving private sector in the ownership or operation of state-owned enterprise is privatization. Economic crisis. During the tenure of our then Prime Minister Honorable Mr. Narasimha Rao government during 1991, India met with economic crisis relating to its external debt. Government was unable to make out repayments on its borrowings from abroad. Foreign exchange reserves were not sufficient to repay the debts. Prices of essential goods were rising. Imports were growing at a very high rate. New economic policy. Government initiated a new set of policy measures to reform the conditions of economy called as New Economic Policy in 1991. Indian economy reforms. Economic crisis of 1991 and Indian economy reforms. The crisis in India is figured out because of the inefficient management of Indian economy in 1980s. The revenues generated by the government were not adequate to meet the growing expenses. So the government resorted to borrowing to pay for its debts and was caught, which is called as a debt trap. What is deficit? Deficit refers to the excess of government expenditure over its revenue. It is spending more than its income. . Emergence of new economic policy. India approached International Bank for Reconstitution and Development, popularly known as World Bank and International Monetary Fund (IMF), and received $7 million as loan to manage the crisis. International agencies expected India to liberalize and open up economy by removing restrictions on private sector and remove trade restrictions between India and other countries. India's agreement. India agreed to the conditions of World Bank and IMF and had announced new economic policy NEP, which consisted of wide range of economic reforms. The measures adopted in the new economic policy is divided into two groups: stabilization measures and structural reforms. New Economic Policy of 1991. Economic liberalization or relaxation in the import tariffs, opening the markets for private and foreign players, allowing them to trade here, reduction of taxes to expand the economic wings of the country. Some of the causes of economic crisis are mentioned. The continued spending on development programs of the government did not generate additional revenue. The government was not able to generate sufficient funds from internal sources such as taxation. Expenditure on areas like social sector and defense do not provide immediate returns. So there was a need to utilize the rest of its revenue in a highly effective manner, which the government failed to do. The income from public sector undertakings was also not very high to meet the government expenditures. Foreign exchange borrowed from other countries and international financial institutions was spent on meeting consumption needs and to make repayments on other loans. No effort was made to reduce such increased spending, and sufficient attention was not given to boost exports to pay for die growing needs. So we can concise this as currency overvaluation, current account deficit, sharp exchange rate depreciation, precipitated Gulf War, India's oil import bill, swelling of the bills of oil imports, exports slumped, credit dried up, investors took their money out. Economic reforms. Meaning, economic reform indicates structural adjustment to external events. It includes countries spending parallel to its income, reducing fiscal deficits, gradual reduction in imports and increase in exports. These adjustments require market change. Economic reforms. These were based on the assumption that market forces would steer the economy into the path of growth and development. Economic reforms started in 1991 in India. Let us discuss about the need for economic reforms. The economic policy followed by the government up to 1990 failed in many aspects and landed the country in an unprecedented economic crisis. The situation was so alarming that India's reserves of foreign exchange were barely enough to pay for 2 weeks of imports. New loans were not available and NRIs were withdrawing large amounts. There was an erosion of confidence of international investors in the Indian economy. The following points highlight the need for economic reforms in the country: increasing fiscal deficit, adverse balance of payments, Gulf crisis, rise in prices, poor performance of public sector units, high rate of deficit financing, collapse of Soviet bloc. Economic reforms under liberalization. Industrial sector reforms. abolition of industrial licensing, de-reservation of production areas, expansion of production capacity, and freedom to import goods. Financial sector reforms. Financial sector includes financial institutions such as commercial banks, investment banks, stock exchange operations, and foreign exchange market. Liberalization made the role of RBI from regulator to facilitator. Economic reforms under liberalization. Fiscal reform. Tax reforms are concerned with the reforms in government taxation and public expenditure policies, which are collectively known as its fiscal policy. Tax can be direct tax and indirect tax. Economic reforms under liberalization. External sector reforms. It includes reforms relating to foreign exchange and foreign trade policy reforms. Disinvestment. Government selling a part of its share capital of public sector units to private sector is called as disinvestment. Now let us have a look at the policies promoting globalization. Increase in equity limit of foreign investment, partial convertibility, long-term trade policy, reduction in tariffs, withdrawal of quantitative restrictions promotes policies for globalization. World Trade Organization (WTO). It was founded in 1995. It is the successor to GATT, General Agreement on Trade and Tariff. It is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. Its main function is to flow of trade smoothly between countries and predictably as free as possible. General Agreement on Trade and Tariff (GATT) was established in 1948 with 23 countries as a global trade organization to administer all multinational trade agreements by providing equal opportunities to all countries in international market for trading purpose. But it had certain problems. World Trade Organization was expected to establish a rule-based trading regime in which nations cannot place arbitrary restrictions on trade. Its purpose was mainly to expand production and trade in order to have optimum utilization of world resources. Arbitrary restrictions means unfair restrictions. The purpose of World Trade Organization is mainly to expand production and trade in order to have optimum utilization of world resources. For our convenience, we have kept it as LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization for the forthcoming sessions. Let us discuss about the positive impact of liberalization, privatization and globalization. A vibrant economy, stimulant to industrial production, a check on inflation, consumers' sovereignty, flow of private foreign investment. Let us discuss some of the negative impacts of liberalization, privatization and globalization. Neglection of agriculture, urban concentration of growth process, economic colonialism, spread of consumerism, lopsided growth process and cultural erosion. We have come to the end of part 1. Hope you would have enjoyed the session and it would have been easy to understand. Please subscribe to my channel Schooling and give a thumbs up. Part 2 will be coming soon.